Welcome, Spartans, to Mission Debrief. We're playing every mission of the mainline Halo video game series in chronological order, discussing our experiences and sprinkling in a little lore along the way. Actually, it's a lot of lore.
If you'd like, just the deep lore.
If you'd like to play along and have your thoughts read on the show, email us at podcastevolved@gmail.com or drop us a tweet at podcastevolved on Twitter. We'll be playing the Infinity mission from Halo 4 on the next episode. This episode...
You mean Infinite? Halo Infinite?
No.
Are we playing Infinite
Infinity
next?
No, it's Infinity.
Oh my god, we got Infinite? Colin, you got Infinite early? Oh my god.
Can you send me your copy?
This episode, we're debriefing the Forerunner mission from Halo 4. I'm your host, Colin Perkins, alongside David Arnold.
Hello, everybody.
And Krysta Brown.
Aren't metal dogs adorable?
They are, until they poop on your lawn.
They like explode
Space
in the
dogs.
little cool firework things. It's so cute.
All right, the last mission was Requiem. Chief dusted himself off after a crash landing on a Forerunner planet along with the new Covenant threat. Cortana confesses she's battling rampancy or something, but her creator, Dr. Halsey, might be able to help. The duo set out to find a ship to escape the planet and head back to Earth. With luck, they locate a scrambled distress signal from the UNSC Infinity, who seems to be nearby. Chief fights his way through the fanatical Covenant sect on their way to find a terminus that will allow them to travel around the planet via a network of portals. This episode is the Forerunner mission, which is now that we're at the core of Requiem, Chief and Cortana discover the source of the Infinity's communication issues. A central satellite sandwiched between two beam thingies causing the interference. Our armored hero sets out to deactivate the beam pylons and catch a ride back home with the UNSC supercarrier. But the planet's warrior servants, the Prometheans, stand in their way. Date of the game is still just July, TBD July, 2557. We meet the Prometheans this episode. There's no opening cutscene, but we do get a cutscene in a little bit. We have to open this door here. We go down this ramp. We can pick up an auto turret.
Yay!
Which is pretty cool. The auto turret, when you activate it, you stand back and it pops out of your body or something, right?
You have a weird spawning animation.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like Chief is Incredible Hulking. Just, giving birth to this auto turret.
Yeah. The turret's very good, though.
Also, that animation takes forever.
It does. It takes a while if you use it in the middle of battle. And the turret pops out of you, and it will just shoot this little, projectile.
Little beamy thing.
Yeah, at your enemies, but they will all kind of focus on it, or for the most part, they'll focus on it.
That's the best thing about it, is it draws enemy fire.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very handy to have around. I use this one quite a bit. All right, let's go to the central terminal thing. So you see this purple orb thingy with the two beams kind of going into it. What's going on here, David? What's this cutscene all about?
This cutscene kind of sets up what's happening. So you're getting constant messages from Infinity. They're getting clearer and clearer. You can kind of see a face now and stuff like that. You're getting essentially this Cortana tells you that there's a nice little pedestal that your USB-Z can fit into. It's great. So she can tell you that this big satellite in the center of the core is being held by these two other beams, these pylons on either side. And these beams are holding this in place, and they're causing the distortion. But it says clearly that the Infinity is not here, not in the center of the planet, but the message is coming from inside. So that's like a relay. So that's why she calls it a relay. So okay, we have to deactivate these two fields so that we can access and then maybe communicate with Infinity. So that's the plan. So Cortana says, I can't get you to the relay, but I can get you close to it. So she activates the portal, and away you go. Also, underneath this, is there something underneath this platform? No, it's not this one. So anyway, you go ahead. You run away. You run into the portal.
Run into the portal, and then we emerge. This is another kind of cool moment. You emerge from another cave. You can see the giant pylon in the distance when you come out of the cave, and then you see all these crazy dog thingies on the walls. What's going on? What are they? I don't know if you can you kill any of these right away? Have you guys tried?
Yeah, you can.
Oh, you can pop them right away. Okay, cool. you kind of bend around in this little it's hard to describe because it's rocky, and then there's like lava in here. Like, so you're I guess we've talked about being in the core of the planet, so I guess planets have magma and stuff in the center of it. I don't know, so that's what they're going for from an aesthetic standpoint. And then you get jumped, don't you, by a knight right away?
Yeah, you do. He's like, boo.
Yeah.
He jumps on you, and he has an awesome moment where his face opens, and you see what's inside it, which is crazy considering what they actually are. And you find that out a little bit later on. So he kind of roars at you, and then kind of teleports away.
Yeah. We have some fun with these crawlers here, and we get to pop the crawlers. We'll talk more about, I don't know what the actual makeup of these animals are. We kind of find out some stuff later on, but let's just talk about the new enemies in general, and we get to do all the new weapons too. Lots of new weapons.
Lots of new weapons.
Yeah.
Some space dogs.
Space dogs, and there are space little flying thingies, which are watchers, which are really annoying.
I hate them. I hate them so much.
I know.
Boo.
Everybody hates the watchers. They get a
I
bad
hate
rap.
them. You can actually assassinate them too.
Mhm.
Can you?
You
I don't think
can.
I've
You
ever
can
managed that.
assassinate all of them. The Watcher is really hard, but you basically hang on to the Watcher and punch it.
That's amazing. I'm going to try that.
Yeah. I don't think I've done that yet. I need to
haven't
try
done
that.
it. I've seen people do it, but
So you see these crawlers first, and you actually get to fight them, and then that's when you get the moment. I got a little ahead of myself. Then you get the night moment where he jumps on you and opens his face.
You
his
can
blue
actually
face.
see him coming at you on the radar right before that little cutscene starts.
All right, so I'm trying to think how to do this the best. Let's talk about the crawlers first, because we encountered them first. The little dog thingies. I'm not sure that there is some lore behind them. I think they were created. All these are defending Requiem and kind of Forerunner warrior things. So they were created because they could crawl around certain things, and they actually did good things against the flood. So that's kind of the crawlers, and they...
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Also, all of these are mostly machinery. There's no biological parts that can be taken over by the flood. So that's kind of why these were made. Just as an aside, these Prometheans are different. There's two types of Prometheans. There's actually Forerunner biological Prometheans, which were a very high class of warrior servant. And then there's also these Prometheans that the Didact created.
Okay. Crawlers are fun. It's kind of weird. Why am I fighting dogs all of a sudden? It's just a weird thing, but they're fun to fight.
It is a weird
thing. In the, I don't know, as you continue through the game and just Halo, I like fighting them just because of the explosion, right? When you get those headshots.
Oh, I love that.
The headshots are satisfying. They're essentially Halo 4's grunts in terms of if you didn't have grunts. They're dangerous in large numbers.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and they run around. They're very mobile, and they'll flank you pretty easily. The weapons they carry are, and forgive me if I'm getting the names right, you guys correct me, is it the bolt shot?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then they also, what's the kind of machine
Suppressor.
gunny one? Suppressor, yes.
Yeah.
So they fire those two. And let's talk about how when you pick those up, they form into your hand.
Oh, it's so cool.
It only happens the first time you pick them up.
Yeah.
And what I was mentioning in the previous episode is that wouldn't happen
Ever
in
again.
Halo 360, but in Halo 4 it does happen when you go back and play this mission again.
Oh.
And you pick up these weapons. They each have a unique mechanic of forming up around your hand. It's really cool.
Yeah, because the dogs, I think it must shoot from their face.
Yeah,
so that
it's
weapon is
in their
inside
head.
them. Yeah. And then they leave the weapon once you destroy them. So you pick that up, and it's I guess, John can then manipulate it. It makes it so it creates itself so that you can manipulate the weapon. Very good. Do you guys use bolt shots? I don't use them that much.
No,
I use them more
barely.
in
I had
Halo
to in this
5
mission.
than
but-
this one. Just a note, when Halo 4 first came out, you can charge up the bolt shot, and it'll do kind of like a shotgun kind of effect. That was so powerful in multiplayer that they had to nerf it.
Oh, in Halo 4 they did?
Yeah, they did. Mm-hmm.
Oh, interesting. I think I don't use it because it it feels like it's a slow rate of fire, and that little projectile that it shoots out is almost it feels like it's slower than the plasma pistol. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I don't like them either.
Yeah, I don't use it. I think it is super effective. I think people in Halo 5 might use it more than in Halo 4, but I don't use it that much. I do use the suppressor a lot. I do like the suppressor. It feels like a cross between the SAW and the AR, which I appreciate. David, what do you use either of these?
This is when I start getting confused between like Halo 4 and Halo 5 because
like the effectiveness of the weapons?
Well, no, Halo 5 kind of fundamentally changed how some of these guns work. Bolt shot, suppressor, and then a couple other weapons work completely differently in Halo 5. So when I pick them up to use them, I'm kind of like slightly shocked of like, oh, this isn't working how I think it's gonna work.
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, the bullshit I don't like at all. I almost never use it unless I have to. I run out of ammo. The suppressor's okay. It is satisfying. It's got a good clip size. It's only really good at like very close to point blank range though.
Yeah.
It's not very accurate over long ranges. There is a light rifle. The light rifle I do love.
Oh.
It has the two firing modes are pretty awesome.
Oh, so good.
Where it's kind of burst and then it has like a solid shot when you zoom in. The scope is pretty cool. So I do like that. I do like that. And a little bit later on, you get a scatter shot. I love the scatter shot.
Oh, the scatter shot's amazing.
Yeah.
The light rifle, I think the first Promethean that you encounter, or the knight that you encounter, has the
light rifle.
Yeah, the light rifle.
Yeah.
But the suppressor is good against knights, and if you get up close to them, you take down their shield, and then pop them. It takes a lot of ammo for the knights to pop their shield and then eventually take them down. So usually I have to reload on a suppressor or switch to a different weapon to finish them off. So let's talk about these knights now. These crazy weird blue knights, and they fire their crazy blue orb grenade thingy, or they're orange, I think, the orb grenades.
Splinter grenades. They're terrible. I hate
definitely
them.
prefer the way that Halo 5's knights work, and we'll talk about that when we get there to Halo 4's, but Halo 4's works very much like an Elite, where you can plasma pistol the shield away and take a headshot.
Oh, they do? Okay, I didn't realize that.
It takes like two. You gotta shoot off the helmet, and then you gotta shoot him in the face, but it works very similarly.
Oh, okay. And as you're playing on Legendary, that's always a good point of reference for that stuff. And then they have those crazy Watcher thingies that pop out of their back.
Oh, I hate them so much. They throw grenades back at you. They shield the Promethean Knights. They revive the Promethean Knights, which is one of the most frustrating things to deal with. Oh my god. Yeah.
Well, so you notice, so when you do take down a Promethean Knight, it has a little aura light thing like on the ground. It will eventually dissipate, but it just sits there for a good, I don't know, like 15 or 20 seconds. Maybe longer.
Yeah.
But if
it's like a data stream is what Cortana calls it later.
Yeah, Cortana says it's a data purge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Which is interesting to think about. So that just sits there for a little while, and if a Watcher comes by, it'll start to, I don't know, recreate the Knight. Yeah, Watchers are annoying. You have to go for Watchers first, right? Like that's what I do anyway. You see those things floating around, you try to take those out because they have the defensive capability, and then everything else we talked about. Have you ever looked closely at a Watcher?
Yeah,
it has weird. Like these little leg thingies, and it kind of has a face.
It's kind of creepy.
They're bizarre. Yeah, super creepy. Look them up. Look up some art of the Watchers. They are weird looking things.
Make it your phone background so you can look at it at all times.
Just a close up of it, face.
Just its face, yeah.
Yeah, they're like kind of mini knights. They're bizarre. Yeah. So yeah, these are new enemies to fight for the foreseeable future. And the light rifle is real good. I enjoy that. That's kind of our BR equivalent. I use that quite a bit. I pick that up when I feel like I go through ammo out really quickly though, because it does fit. I mean, like the BR, it fires through the 3 bursts really quickly, and if you're not accurate, you're blowing through ammo pretty quickly. Yeah. Anything about this initial encounter? Like, what did you guys think when you first saw these Prometheans and were fighting these Prometheans? Do you guys recall that at all?
Something that I think was a downside of Halo 4's marketing is that they showed the Prometheans a lot. And, sure. They showed, like, E3 demos and stuff. They showed how to fight them and stuff. So it wasn't as much of a shock as it could have been. I think it would have been much smarter to only use missions where you fought the Covenant, and then you kind of had to guess to fight the Prometheans.
That would have been an amazing reveal. I myself are on record numerous times saying I hate fighting Prometheans. I don't find them satisfying. They're just teleporting bullets, sponges, reviving, self-healing, annoying things. The crawlers are okay because they have that satisfying headshot. But I really hate Watchers and I hate fighting the Prometheans. And I always, even at the very start, I much preferred fighting the Covenant than fighting these than fighting Prometheans.
Yeah, that's the same camp that I fall in, and I don't know, it's because they don't have any personality, or it's just a weird thing. But I think their mechanics are decent, but they're just, yeah, I think you said it right. It's not very satisfying to kill or fight. It's something about it. They do get better in future installments, but I can remember distinctly thinking, like, I want to play Halo 4, and then, like, getting to a, like, this mission and be like, maybe I don't want to play Halo 4.
Yeah.
But you get over that quickly, and you know, we're playing for the lore, and there's reasons to play the game, and some people do like fighting the knights, but let's talk about this grenade thing that we have now. What did you call it?
It's a splinter grenade.
Splinter grenade, and you throw it, and it has an initial explosion, and then it like hangs there, and then if you're within or touching this orange orb, then you'll almost die, right? Like don't you just dissipate?
Annoying.
It's so annoying.
It's so
It's
annoying.
more effective against you than it is against anything else in the game.
That's a good point.
You can sometimes get some kills with it.
It's hard
if
though.
you throw a point blank. Yeah, I've done it time, but most of the time how I use them is I throw them point blank at an enemy as I'm shooting them.
Mm-hmm.
It can come into use more so in an area of denial effect.
Yeah.
In terms of it just prevents enemies will avoid it. So you can control where the enemies are going a little bit by throwing that grenade down. So you can use it to cover a retreat or something like that. So you could also use them kind of defensively as opposed to offensively.
Yeah, that's kind of how I use them. I just never get kills with them, so I just kind of use them to keep them away from me if I need shields recharged or something.
Oh, let's talk about, I guess we mentioned a little bit, but like how the flaking or the dissipating.
That is a super cool effect. I always really loved that.
Yeah, it looks very cool. So when you finally do take down a knight, the knights are the only ones that do it, and then you yourself.
The Covenant do it as well if you kill them with the Promethean weapons.
But it's only with those weapons, right?
Yeah. The Promethean
weapon
weapons.
has that effect.
It actually has to do with the Flood as well. These weapons were made to combat the Flood, and if you remember in previous installments, the Flood infection forms can reinfect a dead Flood body. So by disintegrating the Flood, you're denying them from ever being able to use that body again. And also, if you're fighting like humans and Flood at the same time or something, you would be disintegrating bodies that could potentially host a Flood spore.
That's good. That's very good. I love that. That makes me feel happy.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons I like the Prometheans, just because in the context of them fighting the Flood, it makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm. This mission, it's kind of long, so I'm not going to dwell on every encounter because we will be here for a while. So we've kind of covered the basics on, taking on the Forerunners here. I think I'm just going to kind of move ahead. Is there anything in like this area that you would want to touch on? I mean,
I think there's a terminal before you get to the first pylon, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's this cool, like I mentioned it kind of at the beginning. The setting is cool. You have the kind of the lava popping through the cracks of this rock here, and then you have you do kind of feel like you're in the core of the planet, and you have this I don't know what it's called, like this beam, this stream of light kind of going off up on the side. But I think the aesthetically it looks pretty cool, this whole area. But yeah, dwelling on each individual encounter, it's more like grab the light rifle, huck a couple grenades, take out the Watchers, and then the crawlers will gang up on you if you don't chip away at them. So you have to be pretty active in these battles. But so for me, I guess just thinking about me not liking the knight, it's more just the knights themselves. I like the movement that it's encouraging you to do. But the knights teleporting all around, and they're just not as fun to kill as elites for me. Let's see here. We do get another pop-up of the infinity, so things are maybe getting better, and you see a little bit of a face here, off on the same little square that Cortana will pop up. You see a face there, and you can tell that the infinity is continuing to try to contact you or something. I don't think they know that it's you yet, but they know that there's some life form or something in this planet. So the next thing that we do is we go further in, and we go into we pop the terminal, and then we go up and around and through that door, I believe, right? And then we got to go deactivate this pylons. We kind of get up to this next area, and then that's when we got to take out like the little orbs. Does that sound right? Yeah. So we go pop open those orbs, and it's this section kind of twice. We have this section now, and then once after we deactivate them, then we go do it again. The hallway, you go through a little bit of a hallway to get to it, which is kind of cool. You can grab whatever weapon that you want. I don't think you get a scatter shot. Maybe you do get a scatter shot in this area.
Yeah, some of the weapons caches have scatter shots in them.
Okay. So you grab a scatter shot, have a lot of fun with that. That one's very powerful and lots of fun.
Super cool shotgun.
You got to get kind of close to the enemies, but it's fun, and it instantly dissipates them, which is good. Disintegrates them. This next area, again, you just have to pop. There's 3, I believe, 3 on each area. These little orbs that you have to destroy to deactivate the beam. These mysterious beams that are causing problems. It's a wide open area, so I like being able to kind of attack it any way that I want. But it's not too tough. How was Legendary on this section? Did you get overwhelmed, Krysta?
No. So you can stay. I don't jump down for a long time. I'll sit and snipe crawlers and knights until I run out of ammunition on my light rifle, and then I jump down.
That makes sense.
You can get rid of most of the enemies down there by just doing that. Another great thing about how open this area is Promethean Knights are pretty easy to assassinate because they're so big. It's pretty easy to get that target. So I assassinated one of them that was guarding one of the orbs, and the other one I just took out with suppressor and light rifle.
So what's the animation? I don't think I've done it in a while.
Oh, it's so cool. So
it's amazing.
You turn the Promethean around, you rip off the little sword hand, and you stab him with it.
Oh, nice.
Because one of his arms is literally just a sword, so you rip that off and stab him with it. It's pretty great.
Yeah.
You kind of like tap him on the shoulder, he turns around, you rip it off. It's amazing. It's way worth it.
What's the crawler one?
Don't you mount the crawler? You like ride on it and then like smush it?
Yeah, you grab on it from behind and kind of ride it, and then kind of reach around its neck and snap it back.
It's so funny. Cool. It's hilarious, actually. Yeah.
I need to start trying that.
Crawlers are hard because they kind of like Promethean Knights can't turn around very fast, but crawler and watchers can. That's the problem I have assassinating them.
Yeah, and watchers, like, you'll start hitting them and then they'll bail.
Oh, I hate that. They like fold up and they like run away.
Yeah. I mean, it's smart, but
it makes them so hard to hit.
Yeah. Even with like a light rifle and stuff like that, it's still a little infuriating.
We have to kind of lead them a little bit with these weapons too. With UNSC not as much, but with the projectiles you can kind of see and they move at a certain pace, so you have to shoot right in front of them if they're headed off to the side. I'm trying to think here. Anything else that we want to cover? Do we get so they're battle wagons? That's what the big fancy knights are called.
The ones with there's one at the top. Scatter
really?
shots?
Mm-hmm. They're called battle wagons.
Yep.
That sounds terrible.
I know. Do not like that name. It's bizarre that they call it a battle wagon, but that's what it is. So
I like the little like decoration they have on them though. They have like little spiky things.
Like a plume. Yeah.
Yeah, the design's good, but name not so much. So there's one of those up at the top. But after you do take out all these, what are they, just energy nodes or something like that?
Yeah,
then
you just kind of punch them like in regular Halo style.
Well, and the way they explain it, you have to deactivate those because those are actually guarding. There's like a if you just went up to the top, you wouldn't be able to cross the light bridge because
there's
shields. Like a shield up there. Yeah, so you have to take out all these 3 nodes, and then you can go up and go across. And then once you go up and go across, that's when you hit your little button, go up the elevator, and this is kind of a cool. I guess I think it's cool.
Animation.
What do you guys think about it? Like the whole encounter where you like jam your hand in there and you got to pull out the whatever it is. You're deactivating this beam very manually, and it feels hard, right? Like she's using all the strength to pull it out and deactivate it.
I think it's super cool.
Mm-hmm.
I always like that. Also, it perplexes me how Cortana wasn't like, I wonder why there's so many defenses for a, communication relay.
Yeah.
Never. Right. She's never like, I wonder until the very end of the mission.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, think about it. She's like the super AI, but she also is going a little wacky. She wants to be fixed, right? So she kind of, maybe she's missed it. Maybe she's missed the fact. But, so we deactivate the first pylon, and then we go and head off to... Then we actually go to the center. We go back to the center.
We teleport back to the start, yeah.
And then, this is kind of interesting. David, maybe you could talk about this a little bit, but you see, like, the Covenant coming in. Like, there's
it's not a cutscene, but it's really cool, yeah. The carriers kind of slip space into the center of the planet, which is really, really cool. And they immediately start moving towards the second pylon. So Cortana's like, it's kind of strange. Why are they so interested in a comms relay? But anyway, you activate the next teleporter and teleport over to the other pylon.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then you get a kind of cool gameplay. I've seen these 2 factions fight each other.
Yeah. And that's just classic Halo, right? Where you're like there's the 3 factions. So we don't have the Flood right now. We are dealing with the Prometheans, and they're the third faction that are fighting against the Covenant. And you can engage them, or you can not. You can kind of run around them for the most part. Probably not in Legendary. Krista, were you?
No, it's really hard because you can't really run. There's not really a straight line to the door without bumping into a couple knights. So you could probably do it, but the active camo's just shit. So if there was good active camo, you could. But
yeah, I do love the look of these new drop pods.
Oh, I like them too. Yeah,
they're like the I don't know.
Yeah,
they're first class drop pods.
They got like a wine cooler in there.
Exactly. They got a magazine rack.
The seats are
phone
heated.
Charger. They got everything in there. I'm trying to think here. I'm looking at a walkthrough to see if I can see them. There's more than one that pop out. That might be why they're bigger. They're not just individuals.
Yeah, I think 4 of them come out of it.
Okay. Yeah, so they're a little bit bigger drop pods than what we're used to seeing. Yeah, you have to engage a little bit. I think I try to rush around as much as possible. That's just kind of my play style in general, especially playing, because we're playing this for the story. So I'm trying to get through the encounters as quickly as possible. So I'm going to a choke point, and then trying to get everybody killed so that I can continue. But I'm not going and clearing everybody out. David, you usually clear people out, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, you're clearing everything. And then, is there a point where they both shoot at you, like where they all turn to you?
Yeah, if you walk in the middle of the fight, they'll all shoot you instead.
When you get up to the side, there is a cool animation of a Promethean just taking out an elite.
Oh, I love that.
He stabs him and stomps on him. And so you have that to deal with, and then you have to take out the knight. I don't think you can save that elite. I think he's just dead no matter what. Dead. Yeah. Then you have some watchers kind of floating up in the area, and then one of the watchers will activate a like a turret. Is a turret
focus
beam?
turret or whatever?
Focus turret, yeah.
Yeah, focus turret.
Super annoying.
Those things are annoying.
Yeah.
I know.
I hate it so much, and it's a huge bullet sponge, and it just sits there. It's like, F you, bitch.
They're bad in Legendary. They're very difficult and annoying. It's not as bad in Heroic, but
Hard Light Shield are amazing against these. So
good point.
There you go. Mm-hmm. They're quite useful.
Good point. So take that thing out, and then once you proceed, there's like a little opening that you will then see a couple elites on their ghost. They'll whiz by, and then you'll see the knight like take them all out.
I love that. That's really cool too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yep, very good. And then you hop in a ghost, and hey, let me take this ghost for a little spin. But it's good times here. And then the ghost, for me, it allows me to move past everybody faster. Or I would imagine, David, do you hang out in the ghost?
No, I actually did it. No, I did it today. I blasted through.
You did.
Mowed down a few dudes and made my way to the next part of the mission.
I did that too.
Yeah, especially on Legendary, you want to cruise by.
Yeah, this is when I was starting to get into a time crunch, and I abandoned playing Legendary just because it was very time consuming. Just because the Promethean Knights kind of suck. So I'll probably finish that later, but these missions are just super long and even longer on Legendary, so I just didn't have the time. I just needed to get through the rest of it.
This part is a little confusing too. When you're in a ghost, you kind of get turned around, and it's not super clear. You just have to find the right cave to go in, and then you go up and emerge into the next area. You kind of end up on top, and then there's a Forerunner structure in front of you. You do see you see the Infinity, somebody from the Infinity. They're there, and they're trying to talk to you. And then it also shows that the Infinity is headed into the
the gravity well, yeah.
Yeah, into the gravity well. You're like, oh crap! So we're like even more urgent to like try to say.
Well, and it's because they're following your distress beacon that is now in the planet.
Yep, exactly. Because I think at some point here they mentioned forward unto dawn, or you can make out that he says forward unto dawn.
Yeah,
which is pretty interesting. So the next area, you have your ghost now, and now we have to do this exact same thing that we did before, is go take out those 3 nodes. This area is more interesting because you have your ghost, and then there's banshees.
Hell
and
yeah!
You see the elite right away.
Immediately pick up the banshee.
Yes, but you got to take out that elite, and he's not. He run. I feel like he runs for the banshee quicker on Legendary. It's not as easy. And you dropped off Legendary at this point, so you don't have fresh reference.
No, I don't remember. But I remember in Legendary just killing myself until I got it, because it's way easier. Because you land it at each node, you can run and take out the nodes, and then you just fly up to the top of the bridge and walk through that door.
Yep. I mean, it's a fun area. The layout's a little bit different. Again, you have the vehicles to deal with. Those banshees are kind of a pain in the butt. So if you don't get that one right away, what I do is I focus on them right away. You gotta take those guys out, otherwise you're gonna get overwhelmed or just like randomly killed from behind. And I don't think there's any good checkpoints in this spot either. Like if
Halo 4 does not have a very good checkpoint system, just in general.
Well, it's not as like forgiving as we're used to. So I think if you take out, one of the nodes, you're not necessarily gonna revive or get your checkpoint right there.
Yeah.
There is a banshee up on the side too. Did you guys find that?
No, on the other side.
There's one parked
the opposite
off.
side that you
yeah,
come
there's
in.
one parked. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I think that one's easier to get as well. I don't think there's an elite that goes for it. I think you can kind of just jump in.
Yeah, you can just hop in. It's just chilling there. Just chilling, so you can go grab that and then tool around. But like you said, you have to take out the nodes before, because it's nice having the banshee because you can fly up and kind of just land on top, but you can't proceed until you take out those nodes. Anything else of note, David, that on this little encounter, this area?
No, I really enjoy it. I enjoy fighting the Covenant here, and this one section is pretty cool. Plenty of weapons, loads of ammo around. It's difficult enough on Legendary, just because the fight comes from you from all angles, and you have to clear out. You pretty much have to kill everybody in order to get to all 3 nodes. There's a few ghosts hanging around as well, so
on Legendary, yeah. I like how the level introduces you to Prometheans and says, "Hey, you got to deal with these guys now," but then it also kind of folds in the Covenant as well, so you know that okay, these guys are still here. My my enemy, my blanket enemy, that I know how to fight. They're still around too.
I like how they switched it up between Covenant and Promethean as well. They did that a lot in this mission.
Yeah,
which is really nice.
And it makes sense here too, because as David said at the beginning, you see the Covenant headed for the second pylon, and they're the ones that are protecting this pylon, as opposed to the Prometheans that are on the first one. So that all ties together very nicely. All right, so let's go up to the top. We do our cool animation where Chief, uses all his strength to deactivate this pylon here, and then we gotta hop back into the portal. And then we go into this. There's this final area now. I don't think we go back. Oh no, maybe we do go back to the center area.
Yeah.
You go back to the center area because you see the Covenant ships turned around and going towards the center now.
Okay.
And then you go through the middle.
You're like,
portal.
okay. You go through a middle portal, yeah, and then when you land, immediately there's like Covenant dropships dropping off troops and stuff like that.
And you see this big orange thingy in the middle there.
Bowling
What's
ball.
going on there?
It's just a big bowling ball.
Yeah, exactly. And so I think Cortana refers to that as a satellite.
Yeah.
Or a communication thing. So anyway, the signal's coming from that thing. I guess it would be the UNSC signal, right? That would make sense. Or the Infinity signal. So it's coming from that big orange thingy. And so we have to battle now kind of around. You can either go left or right. Did you guys notice that?
Yeah.
There's buttons on either side, and you really just have to get up and around to the top. So behind where you start, the Covenant and the Prometheans are fighting each other. You can choose to engage them. I think you have to engage them even on heroic at certain points. Otherwise, they will overwhelm you. But I found this area pretty fun, pretty interesting. You do have those turrets to deal with, those
loser turrets.
Yeah, the loser annoying turrets to deal with, and like you said, they just take a lot of ammo to take out. But this feels like a good area, especially like in co-op. I think this is a fun area because you have a couple of more bodies. You feel pretty powerful, and you can kind of divide and conquer. David, any interesting tidbits on this spot?
Not a whole lot really. It is kind of interesting to see them kind of fight each other. The first area I went into had like a dropship, and somebody destroyed it, and it literally killed everything around it when it exploded. It was amazing.
Oh, wow.
I don't remember that ever happening before, but it was really cool. Also, there's like you pick up binary rifles here, or is it the next? So the binary rifle is like an uber sniper, and I'd say it's one of the only ones I actually like.
So
I like the
good.
sniper in this.
And that one's
it's pretty
that's
much a
Promethean
one-hit
weapon,
kill.
right?
Yeah, it's the Promethean.
It's a Promethean
sniper.
weapon.
Yeah.
It's like a mega light rifle. It's huge, and it's got 2 shots in its clip. It's pretty much a one-hit kill if you get a headshot, and it disintegrates whatever it hits. It's amazing.
Also, it
it's
has
like
a
an
huge,
extended.
isn't
it? Go ahead.
Sorry, it has a huge laser on it as well.
Yeah.
Which I don't think they represent it very well in Halo 4. They do it a little better in Halo 5 that there's a laser coming out of the gun, because when I started playing multiplayer after I finished the campaign, like there were lasers. I'm like, what is that? And I'm like, oh, it's coming from my gun. Interesting.
Yeah, that's a good. I'm trying to think. I don't think we missed any other introductions. This might be the last.
I think this is the last new thing.
The last new introduction, but yeah, they're very good, very powerful, and they look huge in your hand too, which is cool.
Canonically, they're really, really big.
Oh yeah, I'm sure
it's
they
just
are.
a huge weapon. I saw someone like make one as a prop. It was just like huge. It's like 3 or 4 feet big or something crazy like that.
To get up to the next area, so you go left or right, and then you clear an area. There's a weird platform elevator thing, or not an elevator, but it just kind of like raises. All you'd have to do is stand on it. For some reason, that was a sticking point for me. I remember one of my playthroughs a long time ago. I was like, how do I get up to this area? But no, you just stand on that, and it just raises up, and then you continue. So whatever. Once you get up to the next area, it's more more fighting. More, the area looks pretty similar. Covenant, and like they haven't all turned towards you at this point. They're still fighting each other. So I don't like saying more of the same because that makes it seem like it's not worth doing. But it's more the same.
It's fun though. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I did notice too. I don't know if you guys did, but I had my my grunt birthday party skull on.
Yes.
And I wasn't shooting the grunts, but they were popping.
Yeah,
did you guys notice that?
Yeah, it's cool.
So the whoever, the knights or somebody was popping the grunts in the head, and you get the little cheer, which felt good. It's like, wait a minute, what's going on? Oh yeah. All right, so let's get to the top. We got some stuff to talk about here. Got some things to do and to explain to you. You get to the top, you have a little objective, and then there's two little contacts that you put your hands on top of, and it's the reclaimer symbol, right?
Yeah, they have reclaimer symbols on it.
Mm-hmm. And so you're in front of this orb, this orange orb, and yeah, you place your hands there, and you just kind of warm them up, and then what happens, David?
Well, you start talking, and the orb starts relaying what you're saying back to it, and then it slowly starts to activate and kind of move up. Cortana's like, John, take your hands off the pedestal now, but it's too late. Damage is done, and this big orb kind of moves out. It shows the Covenant, the elites and the Prometheans stop fighting each other.
Yeah.
Turn and watch this big orb move up. Out of it, a small little platform kind of melts out of the center, and on it is like this crouching form, and you're about to get introduced to one of the most amazing characters in Halo. And in it, this form what the platform opens up, this being starts to stand up. When it does, its armor starts building itself around it, and it's such an awesome power up moment. And then the camera circles around to the face, and he starts talking. And what you have here is the Didact, which is an ancient Forerunner that's been in stasis for tens and thousands of years. So he starts talking, saying he knows you're there, he knows everything that's going on. So he starts pretty much shitting on humanity straight away, saying that clearly you weren't good enough, and that you weren't even capable of defeating these beasts, and even they recognize greatness, kind of stuff like that. So
talking about the Covenant there, right?
You have not taken the mantle. The Covenant have all started to kneel and started saying Didact, Didact, and they all kind of in a happy place. The Didact kind of waves his arm, and like you see all the Prometheans turn from blue to red.
Orange.
Yes.
And that's kind of significant, kind of an orange color, yeah. So it's pretty much him taking control of them, because they were in control of something else. They was actually defending and stopping you from doing what you just did, is what they were trying to do. Now they're on his side once more. So
they still don't like you either way.
They still don't like you. So Chief is kind of ducked behind this wall. The Didact disintegrates the wall and picks up Chief and starts saying, "Time was your ally, humans, no more. The Forerunners have returned." Like a big epic moment. It's such a great line. And then he says, "This was once my tomb and is now yours." And he just kind of throws John away.
And his helmet.
Which is stupid because
helmet?
Yeah, he really is. John's helmet cracks here. But he pretty much should have just killed John anyway.
Yeah, he should have killed him. And you see how big he is. He's like he's over 7 feet tall.
Big.
This guy is huge. I think canonically it's like he's like 10 feet tall, something crazy like that.
Something like that.
Yeah,
he's pretty crazy.
Large people.
They were. And he goes back on his platform and kind of ascends back into his globe. And then Cortana comes on. "Oh my God, John, we got slip space rupture. Run back!" And he sees John diving off the screen, and the orb just kind of slips space out of the center. And then you kind of wake up in a kind of area, and the game kind of begins again.
Yeah, we're not quite done. This isn't the end cutscene. There's lots of interstitial cutscenes in Halo 4.
Real quick, the Didact's 11 feet tall.
He's 11 feet tall.
11 feet,
Good
4
Lord.
inches, or 3.454 meters.
That's
also,
crazy.
another thing is, the binary's 6 feet tall as well, the binary rifle.
Oh, that rifle, really?
That's amazing.
Which is 197 centimeters.
So humans cannot use it.
Basically, yeah. I mean, if the guy is 11 feet tall, I mean, it makes sense that the binary rifle's so huge, but that's like just a ludicrous size.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, so the Didact goes back in, as you said, he kind of goes back into his little orb thingy. Does that thing have a name?
It's a
Is that
cryptum.
the cryptum? That is the cryptum.
That is the
Okay.
cryptum, yeah.
So he's able to go back in there, but he's free now. So he's no longer being held captive.
He
in the
immediately
cryptum.
fucks off.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
He uses his
Yeah,
Jedi
got shit to
powers
do, man.
and
He's
just
busy.
leaves.
And then he, as you said, David, there's the slip space, so he jumps out of the area. So you're in the core of the planet. He jumps out of the core of the planet somewhere else, and that slip space, as we know, the slip space kind of rupture causes some problems. So now the core of the planet is kind of crumbling around you, and there just so happens to be a ghost that you need to hop on. And now we have, instead of our Warthog run from the previous games, now we have our Ghost run.
I love this run. It's so much fun.
Really?
It is pretty
It's
cool.
not
I do
as
not like it.
It's cool.
It's not as involved as the Warthog runs, but I think it's pretty cool.
I don't know what's going on, but it doesn't run very well for me. At least it hasn't last
It doesn't really.
times I've
There's a
done
lot
it.
of hitting off the sides and catching yourself. And
When I
But
found
that's
like
all the
claustrophobic
Warthog
moment.
runs too.
it tells you to boost, and like my
okay.
boost wasn't really working, so I don't know if that's a Master Chief Collection thing or if it's just always on or something. Like it didn't feel as good as
the
what
Colin thing.
I remember like originally, because I played it again recently, and I remember thinking this was a cool spot, but it just didn't perform very well. Like it's a cool cinematic moment. Again, this is my opinion. It's a cool cinematic moment. You're escaping and trying to get out of the core of the planet, and you're using the Covenant Ghost, which is unique as opposed to the Warthog. But I don't know. They just didn't quite pull it off for me. And maybe it's because it's the Master Chief Collection as opposed to the game when it originally launched. Maybe it ran better on 360. I don't know.
Were you using your Elite controller? Or an Elite controller?
No, I just took my my regular.
'Cause sometimes
controller.
when you have hair triggers on vehicles, it doesn't when when you can't push the trigger down all the way. Sometimes boosts don't work right with the hair triggers on the Elite controller.
Yeah.
Also, just to note, the Ghost is supposed to go faster because Cortana drains your shields and powers the Ghost and makes it a super Ghost.
Oh, really?
That gives you it gives you infinite boost.
Okay.
Because if you notice in Halo 4, you cannot infinite boost in your ghosts. It has a percentage that cools down.
Okay, I didn't notice that.
Yeah, it's in the top left.
Very
So
cool.
Cortana even gives you infinite boost for this segment, and you can get some amazing splatters if you line up the grunts properly as they run away.
Fun.
Yeah, real satisfying.
Yeah, that
You feel kind of bad about it at the same time because all these guys are dead anyway, but
Might as well have some fun.
it's kind of awesome.
I
Yeah,
think the
it's
jumps
cool
are
to
the weird parts for me. From a performance standpoint, there's a couple big jumps, one at the very end, but then there's maybe two along the way, where you normally shouldn't make that jump, but because you have this supercharged ghost, the game just kind of pulls you across.
Yeah, those
And sometimes
do
it doesn't do it
weird.
correctly, and you just end up going into the canyon.
Yeah, but you have to be boosted up. You have to boost a little bit before, even if you get hit right before a jump, you have to go back a little bit and then boost over it for the game to pull you over.
Yeah. So you guys seem to like it, which is cool. I struggle with this spot. The cutscene at the very end of the game, this mission is amazing, though.
It's one of the most iconic. The cutscenes in
Yes.
this mission are the didactic cutscene in this one are super iconic to this particular game.
Yeah, 10 out of 10 for these cutscenes in Forerunner mission. 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
David, do you want to do this one again?
Yeah, I want to do it
Whoa,
again.
cowboy.
So you come out of I don't know about you, but when you do that last jump with your ghost,
It feels weird.
you never make
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
You never make it to the portal,
You don't.
ever.
No.
I don't know why, but anyway, you make it to the portal, but you don't. You go through the portal, you come out on a cliff, and you get Cortana going, "Whoa there, cowboy," and you see Chief kind of struggling with the controls of the ghost, which is now about to explode. It's on fire. So he kind of dramatically jumps off, backflips, which is awesome, and kind of slides a little bit and stops just at the edge of a massive cliff. So you see the ghost spiraling off and exploding halfway down. And then he kind of stands up, and Cortana says, "Up there, look, something," and catch your attention. And the screen moves to this beautiful vista with all these clouds. And then out of the clouds is an fucking amazing moment as the Infinity comes crashing through these clouds.
So cool.
And it's ginormous. It's a big, beautiful ass ship. And it's you can see something's wrong. There's all this kind of blue electricity all around it. And it kind of flies overhead and kind of crashes.
It's just massive. It's
And the
so
Infinity
big.
is
massive.
the largest ship humanity's ever made. It's
Yeah, it's
it also
incredible.
is a testament to how big this planet is, because the Infinity is 6 kilometers long.
Yes, it's amazing. And then then Infinity kind of crashes a little bit way along. You don't really get to see. It kind of goes over like a jungle. And thus begins the long saga of the Infinity crashing, getting its ass blown up, all throughout Halo lore, and still surviving. Good on you, Infinity.
Yeah.
So, the Cryptum rises up. Then afterwards, Chief turns around with his rifle and aims it at it, which is kind
I
of.
love how when he grabs his AR there. He just grabs it and just gets ready.
He's just.
And then the bowling ball just
behind.
leaves. He's like,
ready.
nah, I don't care about you.
Yeah. Yeah, and then the ball just chases after the Infinity, and John's like, "Where's he going?" And Cortana goes, "Where do you think?"
And you can obviously see that because he scans you, so you can obviously see that he was the one who was doing all the crazy scanning.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. Does he scan Chief here?
He scans him for a second and then leaves.
I find it interesting that he doesn't do anything.
He doesn't. He doesn't see Chief as any kind
John
of
is a threat.
I mean, the bigger threat is the giant human ship that just crash landed.
That's true. And I guess he, as a very different Didact, is very anti-human than what we saw in our previous kind of terminal. So I guess a large ship with integrated Forerunner tech would flag alarm bells in his mind. So he chases after it, and that's the end of this mission.
So
it's
good.
Awesome.
And then we slowly walk towards the camera, fade to black. Yeah, lots of stuff happening here. There's spoiler stuff that could happen, so I think I want to just end the conversation here.
Okay.
Didact, yeah. There's more stuff that we can talk about, but I feel like maybe it's left towards the later part of the season.
Okay.
So let's just kind of hold off on some of the additional conversation, because I feel like we'll be dancing around certain things. So let's dig into it later. Why don't we? I guess any other thoughts, just general about the mission? It's long.
It's a long mission.
We get introduced to our Prometheans. We get introduced to this Didact dude who we've read about, but we haven't really met him. We finally met this guy. He's got these crazy fangs and like pulsating like muscles out of his back, and
it was a huge moment when I first saw it, to see a real life Forerunner back and to have his speech be so amazing. The voice actor was an amazing job.
Well, the writing for him is so eloquent and amazing. It's just
the way he speaks is just so good. Like every word he says in this game is amazing. Do you know what I mean? And it's just so quotable, and it's like, he's such an amazing character. Like
his dialogue is deep. There's like a level of depth that, again, if you don't really know what's going on from a Halo standpoint, it's gonna go way over your head. Like you're like, what is happening? But when you're kind of with us, like our understanding of Halo is pretty complete. It's just so pointed. It makes every line makes so much sense. It's very good.
So fades the great harvest of my betrayal. It's so good. Every line. Like I watch this cutscene, and every single time it's like, "Talk to me more, Daddy. Come on."
Yeah, the voice actor is very good. Do we know his name? I should look that up quick.
I'll look it up for you while you chat away.
Okay. Well, why don't we? Yeah, it's very good. You grab that. Why don't we go over and talk about the community stuff? Krysta, do you have Discord up?
Do we want to do the terminal?
Oh yeah, terminal. Let's do terminal first.
The terminal exists.
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah. Okay, so we get a new terminal thing. So it starts with a Forerunner planet. It looks like Requiem, but we can't really be sure. Even Halopedia isn't really telling me what exactly the Forerunner planet is. So you see the Forerunner planet opening, and it's kind of the Didact and the Librarian almost. They're not together, so it's almost like they're writing like letters or something like that, a communication. But, the Librarian's kind of talking about the war and how she's worried about it. She's worried about the foes she's facing. Humanity are way more aggressive than they used to be. It's strange. The Didact's like, we'll be fine. It's fine. We'll beat them. Don't worry about it. You worry too much. Librarian's like, oh, okay. And so that's kind of the end of the Librarian and the Didact talking, and then it goes to another Forerunner planet, and a bunch of ships come into orbit, and you see some humans. Oh.
Humans?
Yeah.
It's a great moment.
So the humans are like, oh, we're by the Forerunner planet, yo. And then, so this is the Lord of Admirals. He's he's the human equivalent to the Didact, so he's the War Master. They call him Lord of Admirals. His actual name is Forthencho. I think that's right.
For Cento, yeah.
But I'm going to say Lord of Admirals because his name's too hard for me to say. So the bridge officer is assessing the planet. He's saying that there are 2 billion Forerunners on the planet. The ships are on... All of the ships are kind of coming around. And then the Lord of Admirals is like, have we gotten ahead of it? It's like, ahead of what? And so they scan the planet and a bunch of red kind of blotches appear on the planet. And they say, no, the flood's already here. There's flood infestation here. And Portento's like, no. Damn it, is what he says.
Right.
And they're just talking about, well, maybe we can alert the Forerunners, let them know that the flood's there, evacuate the planet. And the Lord of Admirals like, no, we can't allow this to spread. We have to eradicate it now. And then you kind of see, you get a kind of a taste of the Forerunner planet. And you see kind of the flood kind of like crawling around on the
spreading.
planet.
It's just like, yeah, it's like some ooze, really.
Yeah, it's like ooze. It's the blob. The blob is on the planet. Shout out to the blob. But you see the blob of flood kind of oozing around, and then you just kind of see an orbit, like a white flash, as the humans are bombarding the planet. So basically what is happening here is the Forerunners are really confused because the humans have just now decided to start eradicating Forerunner planets. At this point, they have no idea that they are actually combating the flood and kind of doing preventative measures by sacrificing Forerunner planets. So the Forerunners are just completely perplexed. They're like, the humans have never gone and just eradicated people planet by planet. They've always done regular warfare tactics. And so that's kind of what's keeping the Forerunners in a tizzy. And on the human side, they're just trying to get out of flood-infected space and try to eradicate the flood wherever they can find it from keeping them from spreading. So it's this is a human Forerunner war, which is just a big misunderstanding on both parts, really. Like, the humans don't really have a chance to explain to what's happening to the Forerunners, and the Forerunners are just, these people they're eradicating are planets, we gotta kill them now.
And this is kind of like the second war, right? So there was an initial war that the Forerunners won, they prevailed, and then they pushed back humanity, and then all of a sudden humanity's back. And they're just super aggressive, and they're eradicating these planets. Like you mentioned.
Humanity has its kind of own set like area of space, so they're just aggressively retreating from their kind of place of space, which is infested with flood, and moving into Forerunner space, which isn't as infested, but the flood is moving way faster than they are at this point.
I find it interesting that the humans way back, way long ago, the humans glassed planets.
Yeah, this is basically,
isn't it?
But I mean, they were doing it for a more noble cause, but still, they eradicated like 2 million people that were on this planet.
Yeah.
So.
Pretty crazy.
We'll see what happens next. Not 2 million, 2 billion. That's a lot of people.
2 billion.
That's a lot of people.
Oh, yes,
a lot of souls.
So, we'll see what happens in the other terminals.
David, you find anything out?
Yes, very interesting. This is a guy named Keith Skarzabarja, and he is an American actor. It's a Polish name, so I probably butchered it. He's in a rake of movies, but he has been in literally 5 million video games.
What?
Like his voice is everywhere. Cool. It's over since about 2001. 1996 was his first game, Soviet Strike. He was President Yeltsin, which is interesting. It was a game I loved. Most recently, he is credited as being Venom in Marvel Prowlers United VR. He was Batman Enemy Within. He was Harvey Bullock. He was Gilgamesh in Final Fantasy. World of Final Fantasy, he was also Gilgamesh. Fallout 4, he was a male ghoul, a Vault-Tec scientist. John Caleb Bradbourne. He's Skylanders, Metal Gear Solid 5. He's various soldiers. He's just in so many games over so many genres.
I love digging into voice actors' careers because
it's
like
crazy.
They find a niche, like a video game niche, and all of a sudden they're just like everywhere.
They're everywhere, yeah. Like you know his face. He's got some like famous film credits and stuff like that. Random stuff. You might have seen him in Argo. He was in Insomniac. He was one of the police officers that worked for Jim Gordon in The Dark Knight. And so
funny.
I think, so he's kind of in random stuff and various TV shows. He was an Angel and stuff for a while, and various other stuff. And The Equalizer, if you ever, that's an old TV show in the 80s. He was in like 50-something episodes of that.
There's so many aspects of Hollywood, and I think a lot of actors go to Hollywood to be, a lot of them go to be on, you know, the big screen or on a TV show or whatnot, but then something happens with their career, and then they you know, will find a home in voice acting, and they just stay there. It's very cool. All right, so trivia. Any other trivia before I do community?
Not amount of crazy stuff. I mean, where was I there? Sorry. Trivia for Forerunner. The legendary only Easter egg allows the player to spawn 9 incineration cannons in this mission. It's not too elaborate, but like, I don't know why you would do it. But essentially, you have to kill a bunch of enemies in a certain region. When you kill the last one, you go back to a certain place, and then incendiary cannons just fall out of the sky.
Oh, crazy.
It's weird. There's another legendary only Easter egg where the player allows players to spawn 2 hidden weapon caches, one with incineration cannons and one with a binary.
Wait, we didn't talk
Damn.
about the incinerated cannon.
It wasn't. It's not supposed to be in this mission.
It's not in this mission.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I see.
So you wouldn't have seen
Okay.
it yet.
The incineration cannon's just like a rocket launcher.
Yeah, it's amazing. During the final segment of the mission, the player can occasionally cause a glitch in the game by ramming a rock when boosting a ghost right as the rock juts into the air. This will launch the ghost and the player up into the air and out of the map. It actually happened to me before, and eventually you'll just keep falling. Sometimes the ghost during the segment John's shields will not be drained and diverted to the ghost engines. If this happens, the dialogue during the segment will not play, which is kind of weird. The final cutscene, Captain Andrew Del Rio states that the UNS Infinity is without power. However, when the ship's engines are clearly powered up as it passes over the Master Chief. In co-op mode, the players who die during the ghost escape will respawn already riding a new ghost to prevent death from making it impossible to finish the level. The animation of the Promethean Knight leaping onto John changed if the level was played with a black ice skull. In that alternate animation, it shoots the player after being kicked off to ensure your shields don't recharge from your melee, which is interesting. This happens only sometimes in the Master Chief Collection, apparently. It doesn't happen all the time. In the section where the knight kills the elite drivers of the ghosts are to be hovering. Also, if the player touches them, they will fall to the ground, as in any other vehicle would, which is kind of interesting. The 2 paths to the Cryptum reverse the battles between the Covenant and the Prometheans. On the left path, the Prometheans appear to be winning, and on the right path, the Covenant appear to be winning. During the first playthrough of the level, on an Xbox 360, the pickup animation, like I said, for each weapon will play through, and it wouldn't happen again unless you deleted the game from from the cache. But that does happen for Master Chief Collection. And what else we got? Cortana has some unique dialogue that only happens for regarding this terminal, and you won't get it again after you've seen it again. So that's all I got.
Cool. That's a lot.
That's a lot, I suppose. Yeah.
You had healthy trivia in this one. All right, Krysta, what's Discord have to say? Community stuff.
All right, so Colin asked us which type of Promethean is the most satisfying to kill in Halo 4, and we have a choice between Knights, Crawlers, and Watchers. So Knights got 5 votes, Crawlers got 8 votes, and Watchers got 4 votes. So Elsa94 says, I think the Crawlers because they pop, but they are not a real challenge, so not satisfying in that way. Ian says Watchers because I hate those fuckers so much with their shields and regeneration and throwing back grenades. Nick says assassinating a knight is probably one of the most satisfying kills ever. Redacted says killing crawlers is just as addictive as eating Pringles.
Yeah, that's good.
Colin says
gotta pop them all.
Colin says I'm gonna say knights because you gotta work for that kill, especially on higher difficulties. And that's about it. So everybody likes the crawlers because they do the little poppy thing. And I like them too.
That makes me feel good inside. I love killing dogs.
Stupid dogs.
Metal dogs.
All right, someone take that clip of Colin saying he loves to kill dogs.
God
Space
damn
dog.
it.
Yeah, that's a good clip.
Damn it. All right, go ahead, David. Facebook.
Colin Perkins created a poll this time. Ooh. He's a moderator. July 11th at 4:04 p.m. Which type of Promethean is the most satisfying to kill in Halo 4? Open bracket question. For mission debrief, Halo 4, runner mission, close bracket. Colin, we have Knights, Crawlers, and Watchers. Knights were won by a landslide, 19 votes. Crawlers only had 7. Watchers had 2.
It's interesting to see the difference between Discord and Facebook.
Yeah. Very much so. Tyler says, I voted for Watchers because those constructs are a pain in the ass. Edgar says crawlers for me. Aaron is he likes the way the crawlers die. And Nick says just because assassinating a knight is super gratifying, it really is. And Kyle says honestly, assassinating any of them is incredibly satisfying. One of my favorite things about Halo 4 is the movements of the third person. They're super violent, get the job done and look what I imagine it should. And something Reach captured as well, but lost in Halo 5. Josh says getting a row of headshots on crawlers is the most satisfying for me. It is pretty good. Spencer says knights are annoying to kill, acting as bullet sponges and teleporting them away, while assassinating watchers is a spectacle to witness. Still haven't done it. I'm trying to vote towards crawlers since earning consecutive headshots in a pack of them has felt rewarding, no matter what the situation. Jesse says knights because watchers are the biggest pain in the ass. And Brad says I voted for knights because whenever I finally put one, the teleporting bastards down, my world gets a little bit brighter. I agree.
Very nice.
Alrighty.
Okay, what's your guys' answer?
Crawlers.
Crawlers?
Yeah, I like crawlers. But I do get people assassinating knights is really satisfying.
Yeah, I'm a crawler guy. All right, that'll do it for our debriefing of the Forerunner mission from Halo 4. On the next episode, we'll be covering Infinity, that thing that was flying
Halo
through
Infinite.
The ship. The ship. Send us your thoughts at podcastevolved@gmail.com or drop us a tweet at podcastevolved on Twitter. Until next time, evolved.
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 Sorry.
The ship.
Yay.
The ship.